AI companion.
Oh, yeah, she's there.
You have to select it on the bottom next to share.
Next to share. Multiple, I don't see. Oh, hot tools, right?
There.
Start AI companion.
Yeah.
Good.
There we go.
Okay, we'll dive into the prarthana. And recording is going on, right? Yeah, that doesn't come in way, right? Always start.
Yep.
Okay, good. Oh. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So there is before we get into that, every time we'll do that. Last time I gave that 7 shloki Bhagavad Gita. 12th shlok of 12th chapter is the summary of not only Bhagavad Gita, it's the summary of entire Adhyatmic teaching. Entire. You take any Shastra, any spiritual text, they just teach what is given in 12th shlok of 12th chapter. So I always, whenever I do Bhagavad Gita, I chant that shlok. So and we should chant. Eventually, you all we should be able to memorize that, right? So 12th shlok of 12th chapter. You can repeat after me even if you're mute. That's fine, right? So you can look at the book if you till you memorize it, right? Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्म फल त्यागः त्यागात् शांति अनंतरम. So Bhagwan, in this shlok, Bhagwan has given the entire Adhyatmic journey or the process. And in my document, it is listed. Abhyas, then Gyan, then Dhyan, and the ultimate is Karma Phala Tyag. And once Karma Phala Tyag means the detachment from the result of action happens, then only uninterrupted peace. Our problem is we get the peace, we think it is peace, but it is like a temporary, we say that just kind of joy. But this is Anantaram peace, Shanti. And Shanti and Anand are synonym. So the purpose of this human life is to have that Shanti or Anand at the end of the day, right? Or in the life. But Bhagavan says they start with Abhyas. So that's why the shlok says, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. So the Abhyas is the first. And the end goal is Shanti or Anand, right? So that's the reason that 12th shlok of 12th chapter is the summary of the teaching. Okay, so very quickly we'll recap first chapter and then get into the second chapter today. So last time, and that you can read those shloka I provided. So just very quick recap what Bhagavad Gita does. First chapter is titled Vishad. Vishad means depression, delusion, despondency, confusion, conflict. All this is called Vishad. And the end chapter is Moksha, Sannyas Yoga. And that's the journey. So that's the reason we are reading Bhagavad Gita. Need to accept. What is that again?
The AI transcriber is not working. You have to accept the invite it was sent.
Where do I accept?
Should be on Zoom.
I don't see where to accept. Yeah, I don't see anything where to accept.
There's request to join as a participant.
Also, it should be in that waiting.
Yeah, in the waiting room.
Don't see anyone in the waiting room. I don't see anyone in the waiting room. Okay, we can figure out then again later, right? I don't see anyone in the waiting. It says AI companion is on. It is on.
No, it was Bhakti's note taker.
Okay.
Whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. So yeah. So that Vishad to Moksha. Vishad is conflict. In modern terms, it is conflict and or depression. And the end is moksha. Moksha means liberation, not the moksha of Shastra like going to Swarg. No, here is liberation, liberation from that confusion, the conflict. And that means you are living just conflict-free life. That's what. And then Bhagavan is saying, Arjun, go for the yuddha now. Bhagavan wanted to make sure that before you perform this action, whatever it is, yuddha or any action, you should have no conflict. And then only you're going to be, your action will be perfected. So that's what. And then second part Bhagavad Gita touches is it when we go through this teaching, ahanta means me, mine, which is ego-driven personality. To udarta means broad-mindedness or self, like no selfishness. That is udarta, right? And generosity, we can say, or humility. Many names are there. Or kindness. So that is the goal here, right? Typically, we are, because Arjun had the same problem. He's, oh, my grandfather, or my uncle, or me, my. And that Bhagavad Gita teaches that. And it happens when we, at the end, we have to be like, that is called equanimity also. Seeing everyone is same. So that is that two things Bhagavad Gita does. We saw the 29th shlok where Arjun had this, the whole depression started of first chapter, when he said, Drashtameva Swajanam Krishna, Yutsam Samupasthitam, Sidantimam Gatrani, Mukham Cha Parishushati. That is 28th shlok of first chapter. So the problem was, he had fought many wars. He had no issue with war. He was the best warrior of his time. But the now Swajanam, he said, oh, I see my people here. And that's where the whole. So all the conflict in our life also, we have the similar conflict. Like when I see my thing, my gain, my loss, and my means nothing but a representation of ego. So that's what Arjun's problem is now. Now he says, now I am like Siddhantimam Gatrani. I'm nervous. I'm shivering. And in fact, I'm sweating. My mouth is dried. All these words he used that time, which are true for today also, like when we get into nervousness or depression. And that's where it becomes Vishad. And that's what the first chapter stops. But one thing happened here we have to keep in mind. There is the battle in our mind also, the conflict, a definition of conflict in psychology term also. Because Gita is, Bhagavan Krishna is the best psychologist. So it is not just teaching, it's a Adhyatmic Shastra, of course, spiritual study, but it has psychology also. It has, we'll go in 13th chapter, it is a physiology also. So Gita is complete Shastra. So the battle is here is the blind mind, which is working under the influence of ego. That is deluded mind. So the Arjun is blind mind working under the influence of ego. And that is confusion. Now, Arjun was lucky to have a support there, which is awakened mind, which is attuned with Paramatma or Atma, that is Krishna. So that is what we need. Whenever we have the delusion, when we get blinded, right? Blinded means all this confusion. Then we need to go back to someone which is awakened and attuned to Paramatma or Atma, we can say. That is Krishna. That's the reason we need to have Krishna in our life, like Arjun had. And then you can navigate through the journey very smoothly. So that is the first chapter. So now with that, we'll enter into the second chapter. And the second chapter is titled Sankhya Yoga, or sometimes it is called Jnana Yoga. But for our purpose, let's take it Jnana Yoga. Because Sankhya is a philosophy. Sometimes people get entangled into that. It's a whole book. But that's not Bhagavan. Bhagavan Krishna has referred some Sankhya here. That's why people have titled, but is it actually, it is Jnana Yoga. And we'll see what Jnana Yoga by the end of today we'll know, because we have to complete second chapter. And second chapter is the fundamental chapter. It is the teaching. If we understand second chapter, then we understand the rest of the Bhagavad Gita. But if we don't comprehend second chapter, then it is like that. If I not finished high school, and if I go to college, I won't get anything, because I have not completed the capability or the qualification to understand higher studies. So second chapter is very important. And the second chapter, if we have to say in one word, it is talking about the oneness of the entire creation. And we'll see how it says, right, that Atma. And the there is a, we Hindus have, we call it great sayings, Mahavakya. So there is a very famous Mahavakya, Tat Tvam Asi. Tat Tvam Asi. Tat means that which is Paramatma, Tvam means me, and Asi means, so goal of second chapter is to say that you and Paramatma are same. And it is actually. All ignorance comes to that, so I am different and I am body. Actually, I am Atma. That's the second chapter. So there was a Swamiji, he was giving a talk like that, Vedanta or Bhagavad Gita. His name was Narayan Dev. And he always talks about that we are not this body, we are Atma. And everybody has the same Atma, so we are all same. Those kind of teachings. And the young boy used to come and he got into that. And at home he said, oh, we are all same. So his mother, old mother, got, what are you talking about? We are all same. She said, who is teaching you this? He said, oh, there is a Swamiji Narayan Dev who is teaching. Okay. Next day, that lady went when the pravachan was going on, the old lady. And from the distance, oh, what is your guru's name? Narayan Dev. She shouted, hey, Narayan Dev, I want to talk to you. And then that Swamiji continued his speech. He ignored her. She came a little closer. Hey, Narayan Dev, I want to talk to you. You are spoiling my son. Then he didn't, he just continued to talk. Then she came just in front of him and he said, Narayan Dev, I want to talk to you. The people got disturbed. He said, oh, he wants to talk, she wants to just yell at you, talk to you, but you're not responding. So then she lady came in front of her. Don't you listen? Are you Narayan Dev? He said, no. But she said, oh, it just says that Narayan Dev's pravachan is you're Narayan Dev. He said, no, this body is Narayan Dev. I am not Narayan Dev. Then she said, who are you then? He said, that's what we are doing here. Sit down, you'll come to know. And then she sat down and she got the enlightenment also. So that is what Bhagavad Gita is. If second chapter we understand, and that is the goal, we realize that we are not this body. The body is a limiting like agent. It is very limited. It's impermanent. And that's not we are. We are that Atma which is permanent, which is not limiting. And this body itself we can realize. That we call it self-realization in modern terms. Once we realize that, oh, I'm not this body, I am that Atma. And we call it Atma Gyan, self-realization. So with that, we'll enter into chapter 2. Chapter 2 has like 4 segments. We'll cover that. But before we go there, I just remind, self-realization reminded me that Steve Jobs, he was fond of the book Autobiography of a Yogi. And Autobiography of Yogi, Yoganand Paramhans, was fond of Bhagavad Gita. His commentary on Bhagavad Gita is very good. So Steve Jobs, actually, when his funeral was organized, he already gave instructions to his daughter that after my funeral, everybody should be given a written gift. And that gift was Autobiography of a Yogi. And this is, I'm not making a statement, this is in public. You can search and you can find. Because Steve Jobs wanted people to have self-realization before the life ends. Because he died very early, the 56 years of cancer. He went to India also a few times. Because he realized that, oh, this is all fine what I'm doing. He was the best achiever of this century, we can say that, right? But he also said that there is something missing here. And that missing thing is Atma Gyan. So that's why he was fond of it. And that's why he said, everybody should read this book, Autobiography. That book talks about the same thing in a Western context, because he wrote this book here, but all references from Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad. And that is what second chapter is. So the goal of second chapter is to realize that Tattvamasi, you are that. You are that Atma, not the Shari. So with that, we'll enter into second chapter with that story that, and so there are 2 chapters we'll cover third chapter in the 4th week. Second and third chapter are the foundational chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And it is like that when for example, we do that, our Ekal Vidyalaya, there is a project in Bharat. One of the goal was Ekal Vidyalaya was to teach those tribal people some number so they can read, and an alphabet so they can read what is written, or they can sign it. So basic teaching, we say in old time, like a basic math and basic English. That's it. If you know A to Z and 0 to 9, you can do many things in life. And the entire education system is based on these A to Z, 0 to 9. And then all education is based on that. Exactly. So Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 and 3 are like A to Z and 0 to 9. If you know that, you can get any amount of education. But if you don't comprehend these two chapters, then yeah, we can still read, we can refer, we can quote things. But so these two are very important chapters. We'll spend each chapter 1 hour. So today, so we are entering to second chapter. We call it Gyan Yoga. Sometimes you see Vishad Yoga, but Gyan Yoga. So the second shlok of that chapter, first time Bhagavan is speaking. So far, Arjuna was speaking in the first chapter. He kept saying his logic. First time Bhagavan is speaking now. And so he's the second shlok of second chapter. Bhagavan says, Kutastva kashmalam idam vishame samupasthitam anarjushtam asvargyam akirtikaram Arjuna. So Bhagavan is saying, in this odd hours, why odd hours means, and it's a very simple example. I prepare for an exam, SAT or whatever, MCAT and or GMAT, and I'm ready. And the day of exam, I said, oh, I'm nervous, I cannot write the exam. You cannot do that. You prepared 6 months, a year for the exam, and exam day, of course, you get some nervousness, but you cannot say, I cannot write exam. That's what Bhagavan is saying. Vishwamam is odd hour. This odd hour, like this is the time you prepared for this for Arjun, and you're responsible for this. People, like the entire Pandava army is based, Arjun has to be there, right? So Bhagavan is saying, Anarjustam asvargyam. And he's saying, if you don't do this, asvargyam and anarjustam means people will remember you as a person who ran away. Defame. That, and fame in the sense here, not we are talking about fame is some decorated person. And I just, like, simple example is like we remember, say for example, George Washington or in India Bhagat Singh. For what? They did something. Their name is still, if you tell that name, people will feel pride. I have not seen George Washington or Bhagat Singh, but I feel good about those because they did something which. So that's what Bhagavan is saying. If you don't do that, people will remember you. And that's what I was telling in the beginning to Vimal Bhai, that even today, people name their kids Arjun, even in America or Africa or India, and Sanjay. I had a friend in Michigan. He said, I have a son, his name is Sanjay. I said, Michigan, Sanjay, yeah, I love that. These two names are known just because of Bhagavad Gita. Because this text is so powerful that, and that's what Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, if you do something, people will remember you. And that's the reason you cannot. This. So he says, and the next sloka, Kshudram Hridaya Daurbalyam, means the weakness of heart, just Arjuna shrug off this. This is not the time. And that's what when we prepared for something, and I'm not taking an example, even simple is that. If I have to, with someone with whom I have a conflict, right? And that's what we learn in corporate world and leadership in our office also. The first thing in conflict resolution is that keep your calm. In fact, we do the drill in our office, that fire drill, we are on 17th floor. They say, first thing, they say that fire drill, keep your calm. And then take the steps or do whatever. First thing is keep your calm. So that's what Bhagavan is saying. Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam. Arjun, just hold on. First, keep your calm. And so then Arjun realizes that when Bhagavan says that I have thought enough, but it is not happening to me. And that's what happened in our life when we feel that, oh, it is not. So it is called realizing the problem. I mean, I go to doctor. If I don't know my problem, then I cannot explain to doctor. So first, Arjun realizes, oh, it is not. I tried all my rational, but I'm still not able to convince myself that should I go for war or this depression, how I'll overcome this. So then the 7th shloka of 2nd chapter, we'll read that. You can repeat after me. This is the prayer. This is my prayer every day. I do this prayer a number of times during the day. And I tell you, let's do that shloka. The 7th shloka of 7th chapter. First time Arjuna has realized that it's not happening. I'm not able to do that. I need help. So 7th shloka of 2nd chapter. It is Arjuna's prayer. Karpanya dosho upahat svabhavah prachhami tvam dharma sammud chetah Yat shreyasyat nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. And when I say this prayer, I close my eyes, I memorize this, and I see Bhagavan Krishna is standing in front of me. And many times during this, I say, I need your help. I'm deluded. Of course, I'm capable of. Arjuna was the best archer, so archery was not a problem. But he's saying that I'm not able to make the right decision. The Shreyas means the decision which is good for all. I'm still thinking of myself, myself, myself. Can you take Krishna out of this myself, the ego? And that's what he surrendered. So first thing of learning is surrender. And that's why the word he uses Shishya. Shishya means the person who surrendered. That's a Sikh word has come from here. Sikh means those who surrender to Guru. That's Sikh. That's what Shishya. Shishya means who surrenders to the teacher. But for what? For learning. And then learning flows. So that's what Arjun's prayer. I request everyone to memorize this. And then, so now Bhagavan says, okay, now I think now Arjun, you're ready to get the teaching. Now I'm going to give the teaching. So far, Bhagavan has not given. So the teaching starts from the 11th shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Till that, there is no teaching happening. But Arjun has did the prayer. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I am your Shishya. I am surrendering to you. Please guide me. Shishyasteham. Nit shreyas syat nishchitam. Shreyas means the greater good, which is good for all. Now Arjun has realized that, so far I'm thinking of myself. That's why I got the depression. And it is said that if we open ourselves to the entire humanity, it is all our experience. I'm sure all of us do some kind of charity or seva. If we do that seva or charity with the genuine thought, we feel uplifted from within, without any help. That even thought of giving something to someone lifts me. And that is so that's what that surrender power of. So, and that's what teaching will start, that you are ready to. And he said for everyone, Shreyas, guide me for Shreyas, where everybody's good, greater good is going to happen. So that Arjun's consciousness will be raised. So 11th shloka, the first chapter, this is the teaching. So teaching starts from 11th shloka. First shloka, which is the wonderful shloka of all that our Hindu Shastra, right? So Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, 11th shloka, right? Ashochan Vashocastvam Pragyavadanshcha Bhashase Gatasuncha Nanushocanti Panditah. So Bhagavan is saying, Shoch word has used. So there are keywords, I'll repeat those keywords. Shoch means grief. Soch, Hindi, there is a soch, but Shoch means grief. So Bhagavan is saying, Ashochan Vashocastvam. You're grieving for something which is not worth grieving. What is not worth grieving? He says, Gata soon. Gata means the which is gone. And in both sense, you see bodily sense, or in general also, like thought sense. Gata soon, the people who are gone, or things which are gone, or the events which are gone. Agata soon, that which has not come yet. You're grieving for that. The gone, you cannot grieve. You have to act, but you cannot grieve for that, right? And you cannot be just sitting, oh, gone. Like that's what we do, right? So the message here is that either we live in the past or in the future. And in modern health, I'm sure some of you are from medical field, right? In the modern terms, the definition of anxiety is that we are living in something which has not yet come. I'm ruminating something which has not yet come, or I'm regurgitating which has already gone. That is anxiety. And anxiety turns into stress, and prolonged stress turns into depression. It's a modern definition of health, right? That's what Bhagavan is saying to Arjuna. You are worrying about which is, so first thing, and he says, Nanu Shochanti Pandita. Panditness is not, he's talking about Pandit, Pujari and Pandit. Pandit means who has wisdom, who has vivek to see what is to be done, what is not to be done. That is Pandit. And that's the reason we call them Pandit. They're supposed to tell us what to be done, what not to be done. And all this puja and all those things, there's a very cryptic form of spirituality, but that's okay. You want to, but the Pandit is who knows exactly what is to be done and what's not to be done. And Bhagavan is saying you are unnecessary grieving. So there was those, and that's what we do, our human nature, right? Those two young couple, they were sitting and fighting and in the park, and some wise person was walking around. He said he saw them fighting, young couple, and he went there. He said, looks like your husband. I said, yes. So what is the conflict? What is the fight here? She said, we are fighting over we want to name our baby. So she's saying, I'll see Ravi, and I'm saying, oh, we'll call it some Sanjay, but we are fighting over the name. He said, okay, but where is the baby? He said, no, we are not married yet. We have just decided to marry and we are fighting. So we do the same thing. We just ruminate on the things which has not happened yet or which has gone. So Bhagavan is saying, the first teaching is, Arjun, stop doing this. Remain in the presence. And this is the teaching, right? Remain in the presence. Then only you are going to perform the best. Otherwise, you will always be, it's kind of a leaking bucket. In the leaking bucket, you can never fill water or any liquid because there are leaks in the bucket. And these things, future and past, rumination and regurgitating, they are the holes in the bucket. So then Bhagavan, we'll skip some shlok. So we'll go to shlok number 13. I have picked up those which are. So now he is going to tell Arjun, Bhagavan knew the problem is Arjun is thinking I am the body and these others are the body. So there is going to be killed and I am going to be killed there. So Bhagavan wants to remove his doubt about this body identification. We call it in Adhyatman Dehatma Bhav. I am too much about my body. And that's what happens, like body, me, that's body. So Bhagavan says in 13th shlok, which is read popularly whenever there is a death in our families, Hindu homes, they read these shlok, 11 to 30. Panditji come and they'll read these shlok. Because these shlok tell that you are not body, you are the Atma. And that knowing that is Atma Gyan. It's that simple. So 13th shlok, Bhagavan says to Arjun, Dehino asmin anyatha dehe, kaumaram yovanam jara, tatha dehantar praptihi, dhira tatra namuyati. So Bhagavan is saying that childhood, like middle adulthood and the old age, they are that of body, not the Atma. When I say, oh, Sanjay, I was 10-year-old, when I tell some story, then I say, oh, I was 50-year-old this, and I'm 70-year-old, I'm telling that I remain the same. Only the body is getting old. Sanjay, that Atma is not getting old, that body. So Bhagavan is saying that, but we think that, oh, I am getting old. No, you are Atma, you are not getting old. This body is getting old. So Kaumaram, Yovanam, Jara, 3. Kaumaram is that young age, childhood, Yovanam is young age, and Jaram is old age. So all these 3 stages of the body, Arjun, not your stages, not it is Bhishma's stage. Bhishma's Atma is same. So that's why Dhir Tatra na Muyati. Again, the Muyati means deluded. Dhir means the person who has wisdom. Dhairya, the Shabd is Dhairya. Dhairya means who has perseverance, who is like a stable mind. Those people don't get confused about. So that's the message. That's why these shlok are read when somebody dies at home, because we say that, oh, body has to go. So you can't just grieve over the body. You solve the problem. If something is there, take care of things, but you cannot grieve because nobody has control. And no doctor can write an expiration date on the day of you're born. No doctor in the world can write. Even doctor himself cannot say. And people die at the age of 10 or 15 or 50. Nobody knows. It's all, there is a system working. So Bhagavan says, why are you grieving over that? And that's the teaching right here. So then we'll skip a few more shlokas. So there is a 14th shlok, which is one of the teaching. And you can see in my 7th shlok, this is there, 14. And so Bhagavan is saying, Matra sparshasthu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkada agama payino anitya tanstitiksha bharat. So Bhagavan is saying, Matra sparshasthu means, this is Matra means senses, and sparsh means contact. So senses always contact with the outside world. So, and Gita is full of metaphors. Bhagwan is the classic teacher. So he has used the metaphor, Seet Ushma is cold and heat. As we feel, the body feels like, oh, it's cold, it's hot, it's cold, it's hot. And but they come and go. Nighttime it is cold, then daytime is hot, or the season comes and go. So Bhagavan says, similarly, dukh and sukh. So Seet Ushma is hot and cold are related to body, dukh or sukh in the mind. And Bhagavan says, dukh and sukh also are agama paino, they come and go. Nobody in this world can guarantee that oh, even Elon Musk or Mukesh Ambani, nobody can guarantee that आज सुख है तो कल भी सुख रहेगा, कल दुख भी हो सकता है, and सुख भी. So sukh and dukh, they come and go. That's why agama paino anitya, and they are temporary. So, but the message here is, so Bhagavan says, tas titikshasva bharat. So there is a word titiksha, very powerful Sanskrit word. Titiksha means the endurance, the capacity to endure things. So capacity to endure, like for example, cold and hot. Yeah, we develop that. We become accustomed to that. Oh, you put the clothes and everything, but slowly you get accustomed because it has to be. You can say, I will not go out because there is a cold. You do something and go out. Endure them. Similarly, dukh or sukh, Bhagavan says, endure them. Because there is no guarantee that there will be sukh always. There's no nothing dukh always. So endure them. So that is called titiksha. And we'll see in the Bhagavad Gita going forward how to build titiksha. That's the goal of all the teaching. All the sadhana is to build titiksha, endurance. And endurance for what? Again, shreyas, for the joy, for the anand. And not for just to kisi ko fight karna hai. So that's what this very, very powerful shloka, that means acceptance. Raise the acceptance. This happens. So there's a definition of titiksha. Chinta vilap rahitam apratikar purvakam sahanam sarva dukkhanam titiksha. Means without craving, without grumbling, without complaining, just accept things. But keep doing what is right, but accept things. That is titiksha. So that is 14 shloka. So then we'll just, because this chapter defines what is Atma, and that's the purpose of. So go to 23rd shloka. 23rd and 24th. We'll read 24 first and 23rd. This is, and I tell you, like, I'm sure many of you have read many Shastra. I have read all Western, like Bible and all other Judaism, and I read Buddhism. I read all Buddhist, and nowhere, and I can guarantee this, nowhere in any of the spiritual text or any philosophy, the Atma means they call it spirit in modern world, but for us Hindu is Atma. It's 2 shloka. What a beautiful description of Atma. Nowhere it is done. People have written books and books on this, but what? Krishna is a great teacher. So 24 shloka first we'll read. Achedyo ayam adayo ayam akledyo ashosya evacha nityah sarvagatah sthanur achulo ayam sanatana. This is, and the 23rd shloka, we'll read continuation and I'll explain them. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakah, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati maruta. You can read English whenever you read later on. But let's go very quickly. So what Bhagavan is saying, Atma, body can be cut, body can be burned. That's why for Hindus, we call it Dehant. Jab kisi ki mrityu hoti, we say Deh Ant. The Ant is of Deh, not Atma. And I always give example of electricity for kids classes. Electricity, I have a bulb, and there is a electricity in this bulb. But bulb is not electricity. Bulb has a certain, like 1000 hours. After that, once the bulb is gone, I'll take the bulb out, go to Home Depot, get another bulb, put it here. The bulb is again glowing. The previous bulb is gone because electricity is always there. Electricity doesn't die. In fact, there is an incident very recorded. Thomas Edison went to school one time in Detroit or somewhere, and the kids were talking to him. And one kid asked him that, can you tell me from where electricity comes? And he said, even I don't know that. I found out that electricity is there. From where it comes, I cannot answer that. It's always there. I figured out that there is electricity because he was doing some experiment. So it is always existing. Same thing with Atma. It is always there. Body comes and goes. So, and what the quality of Atma is, 24 shlok mein Nitya. Nitya means always, eternal, always there. Sarvagata, all pervading. It's everywhere, like space. Space is everywhere. Sthanur is fixed. Like it doesn't move. Move in the sense, what Bhagavan is saying here, because of the death. It doesn't move with death. The body dies. Atma is always there, like electricity. You change the bulb and it's there. Achalo ayam sanatana. It is eternal. You see, that's one reason our tradition is called Sanatan Dharma. That one thing in Sanatan, in this entire universe, only one thing. Either it is Paramatma or Atma. Doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Tattvamasi. There is no separate Paramatma. There is a reason Bhagavan has taken manifestations and Hindus have come up with all this manifestation. But there is no separate Paramatma. It is me and Paramatma are same. Tattvamasi. And that is eternal. That is the only thing. And that's why our tradition is called Sanatan Dharma. So that is 24 shlok. Now we'll just move a little forward to, and so this is the second chapter. First part is defining the Atma, 11 to 30 shlok. You can read in your leisure time, English version or whatever you understand, but it is all description of Atma. And that is the ultimate goal of all the teaching is that I should realize that I am Atma. And we call it self-realization. In English, in Hindi, we call it Atma Gyan. That's it. Or Brahma Gyan, we can call it. Atma Brahma Gyan is the same thing. Atma and Brahman is same. Whatever Atma is inside me is Brahman. There is no separate Brahman. It's all inside me. And that's the teaching. So 11 to 30, you can read later on. But now we move to, so in the same chapter, what Bhagavan is saying after describing Atma, he's a very good teacher. He knows what Arjun needs, right? Now he is going to describe a little bit of Swadharma, because Gita is one of the best teaching on Swadharma. That's why people keep saying Karma Yoga of Gita. Third chapter will go into detail, but in very briefly, Bhagavan is going to touch so 32, shlok number 32. But we'll not go into detail because third chapter will talk more on this. But just I'll take one shlok, and so Bhagavan is describing here Swadharma. So the 32 shlok he talks about. First time the word Swadharma is used. Swadharma pichaveksha na vikampitum arhasi. This is 30, 31 shlok. Dharmyadi yuddhat shreyo sat kshatriyasya vidyate. So Bhagavan is saying, you are a kshatri, you are a warrior, and this yuddha is Swadharma for you. So first time Bhagavan brought the term Swadharma. Now Bhagavan has given, you are that Atma. Don't worry about body. You are not going to die. Body has to die. But why you're doing all this? This is your Swadharma. The Yuddha is not about killing someone or not killing someone. It is about Swadharma. Swadharma could be just serving someone on the street is a Swadharma. So there is a term called Dharma and there is a term called Swadharma. So Dharma is a very arbitrary term. Dharma is, you cannot define Dharma. Dharma is a universal principle which is holding the entire universe together. That is Dharma. For example, Satya. Satya is Dharma. But you cannot define Satya. So when I follow personally Satya, then it becomes Swadharma. So I have to follow Swadharma, then Dharma will be taken care. Let's not worry about Dharma. A lot of people say, oh, Dharma ki raksha. Dharma ki raksha nahi karni. That there is a reason our Rishi is here. Swadharma, we have to do that. So that's what Bhagavan is telling Arjun. You have to follow Swadharma, Arjun. You are a Kshatri, your Swadharma is Yuddha. So if you do Swadharma, then Shreyas, which is Dharma, will be taken care. If you do Swadharma, Swadharma means in the current context, what is right for me. For a soldier, protection of a civil person is a Swadharma. But as for a civil person, having a gun and going to the New York and shooting people is not Swadharma. At the same time, there is a cop who has gun, who is using the gun for Swadharma, for protection for people. There is a guy who is go to New York somewhere and shooting people. That's not Swadharma. Same gun used in a wrong sense. So Swadharma is right action. So that's a karma. We'll talk. Third chapter is all about that, but I just briefly touched here. And now the last part of one of the best part of this chapter is, so Bhagwan told Arjun what is Atma. Bhagwan briefly told Arjun what is Swadharma. And the whole third chapter, we'll talk about that, right? So there's one shlok here. We'll just read, very famous shlok, which comes from second chapter, although it is about karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachan ma karma phal hetur bhuma mate sangost akarman. That is 47 shlok of second chapter. So Bhagwan is giving a summary of karma or swadharma. So he is saying, a lot of people are confusion about this shlok, that India mein all the shops, they have listed this, like, Bhagwan says in the Gita that don't worry about result, I'll take care of it. Bhagwan has never said I'll take care of it. You read this shlok, he has never said I'll take care of this. I don't know, nowhere in the Gita Bhagwan said I'll take care of your result of your karma. He said you do your karma, result will come. And in fact, one shlok, when we go to fifth chapter, there is a shlok very clearly. Bhagavan says, I don't partake in your action and your results. I don't partake. It's your responsibility. I don't know from where people write all these कर्म किए जा फल की इच्छा मत करे इंसान जैसे कर्म करेगा वैसे फल देगा भगवान भगवान से I am not giving the फल. There is a system. You do it and you get the result. I'll guide you how to perform the right. So that's what this shlok is about. Karmanye vadhikarastami, not your adhikar of karma. You are born, whatever you are born as a boy, girl, doctor, non-teacher, student, whatever responsibility you have, that is assigned to you. It's not about you are ought to do that, not take the control over that. You ought to do that. And then ma phaleshu kadachan. Don't worry about result. Because what happens, why he's saying? Because it's the same thing. Result is always in the future or in the past. Gatasun agatasun chananu shochanti. That's a key word, right? Result is always either in the future or in the past. What has gone, I think, I did wrong that time. And I just regurgitate on that. Or which has not come yet. Or result will be like this. The Bhagavan is saying, Ma phaleshu kadachan. Just focus on the action. And that will be the perfected action. Third chapter will go into detail. And Bhagavan says, Mate karma phal hetur bhuma. You are not a cause for the result. You are not producing the result. It is the action which is producing the result. All third chapter will talk more. But that's what Bhagavan touched about this. Now Arjun, after listening this, the nature of Atma and nature of Karma, Arjun has a question, which is 54 slok of second chapter. This is the last part of second chapter. I mean, when I say each slok of second chapter can be 1 hour minimum discussion. It's such power. Each slok is so powerful. But anyway, now Arjun, after listening the nature of Atma, and then realize, it looks like I'm not this body. I'm too. By being body, I'm making myself too small. Atma is all pervading. It's a sarvagata, nitya, sthanur, achalo. You are that Atma. You are the part of this universe. You feel that, right? So Arjun says, I got that. I got what is karma. Then now he's saying, he thought that. Like, for example, when we see the advertisement, if you're buying a house and we go to whatever, Wells Fargo or Howard Hanna's office and say, they say, here's the map and everything. Then you say, can you show me the model house? And they take to the model house. Here is the model house. You look at, if you buy, this is, so Arjun is asking that, can you show me the model person who has these qualities, what you have told about understanding Atma and the karma and the mental peace. So Arjun asked the question, right? Isthit pragyasya ka abhasha, that is 54 slok. Isthit pragyasya ka abhasha samadhistasya keshava स्थित किम प्रभासेत किम आसीत व्रजेत किम. So Arjun is asking, I understand what you're saying, that I should not be disturbed, I should be focused, and like, but can you tell me what is the characteristics of this person who is not disturbed? That's what Bhagavan is saying. Pandita samdarshi, Pandita, like nanu shochanti Pandita, means Pandit is not disturbed by a situation. Shoch means grief, means disturbance. Any thought in the mind is a disturbance. There is a teacher who is no more, J. Krishnamurti. I'm not, some of you might have, he's one of my favorite teachers. Somebody asked him once that, can you define positive and negative thought? And you know what his answer? I love that answer. He said, all thoughts are negative. All thoughts are negative. Look at that. We have to go into deeper, but it's very right. All thoughts are nothing but disturbance in the mind. Only thought which is, again, third chapter we'll go to. Gita is very powerful on Lok Sangra, means Shreyas, well-being of all. Any thought which is leading me towards the well-being of all, that thought is not disturbing thought. Otherwise, every thought, if I'm building my own things, it is a disturbance, because it is for me, it is for myself, it is for something which is around me. So that's what Bhagavan is saying, Nanu Shochanti Pandita. So that is Sthit Prajna. So Arjuna asked, can you define me? So we'll read few slok. We have 12 minutes. So it's a wonderful, there are a lot of qualities of Sthit Prajna Bhagavan is going to describe, but let's say it's a role model. And this is one of the favorite of many people, including Mahatma Gandhi. He used to read this every day, twice, every day. And I read every day, twice, right? This part is wonderful. Some shloka, every shloka is good, but we'll see if you want to. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Bhagavan's answer. Now he says, look at this quality of this person who has stable wisdom. And what is stable wisdom is? Very simple. The wisdom, we all know that. And example is always very simple. We all know that anger is bad. Anger is harmful. And there is a saying that anger is a fire which burns yourself first. Forget about other. That person might run away in 5 minutes, but you burn yourself. Anger. Everybody knows that. Even little kids, they know that. Anger is bad. Or anxiety. But when the situation comes, I get angry. And I know that I should not get angry. Every time we think, or should not get nervous, or should not use wrong words, or should not use bad language. Everybody knows that. But if we do that, and then realize, so that means the wisdom was not available during that moment. It's gone. I'm the same person. I know, but I just does that, right? And that's what they say. There is a saying that Stephen Covey, he says that if snake bites you, what do? You go and treat yourself. Don't run behind the snake and bite the snake. You don't do that, right? You go and treat yourself. But we do that. We're human beings. The anger is like that, right? Somebody is saying something like a snake biting you, you bite a snake. You're going to kill yourself. We do that, right? Somebody has said something wrong to me, I get angry. And it's harming me. That's what Bhagavan is saying. So Bhagavan is saying, first quality of this person is Shri Bhagavan Uvacha 55. So, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmannev atmanatushtaha sthit pragyasya dochyate. So Bhagavan is saying, Prajahati yada kaman. Prajahati means give up. Yada kaman, all sarvan parthamanogatan, all the desire sitting deep inside the mind. All our desires, like from the childhood, I had a desire to have a bike which was like this. Even in the old age, I'll buy the bike. A lot of people I've seen that. Oh, I had that desire. My parent could not give me that motorbike. Now I am buying the bike. Now I am on, right? That desire of childhood is still sitting. Somebody told me something 50 years ago, and I go back to India and I see, oh, this guy, when I was in India, he told me something. Still in the mind. And that's why deep inside the mind, desires are there. And Bhagavan says, this person has given up all those desires which are sitting deep inside the mind. And how? This person is Atmanev Atmanatushta. He or she is satisfied within himself. Most of us need outside things to be happy. I want to go to party. I want to go to the tour or cruise or wherever. Like we go all the places. Like we go to park, state park, or go some fair. For what? Just to relax and be happy. Bhagavan says this person doesn't need. This person will go everywhere. Look at Krishna himself, Bhagavan. He is always decorated. He's dancing. He's doing everything, but he doesn't need those things to be happy. And there is a saying, right? that I am happy because, as long as the because exists, you're not happy. But that because is a problem. There is no cause of you to be happy. You are born happy. That's what we say. Like Adi Shankaracharya says, right? Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. My Roop is Ananda. Chidananda. Chid means is always happy. That is my Swaroop. Little kid we see when we are babies are always happy. And that's what say. Babies are like God. We're always happy. We have to be always happy. But we have accumulated so much of contamination that we become unhappy. So Bhagavan is saying this person is happy within himself or herself. No outside help is needed. The only thing that's what our adhyat, spiritual, that's why we have satsang. The only thing, if you need help, take help of Bhagavan. That is allowed. Because that is the only thing which is permanent. Otherwise, anything in this world, including my friends, relatives, everybody is impermanent. Everybody has her own problems. How do you think that somebody who has his own problem can give you happiness? That person is also seeking happiness. Everybody is seeking happiness from outside. The only thing is Bhagwan ka naam or Bhagwan ka dhyan, whatever. There are various ways dhyan. So this person is Atmani Atmanatushta, within himself or herself. That's what we call it dhyan. We'll go to 6th chapter. We'll talk about that. I'll read one. Maybe we have a few more minutes, so we'll read one more shlok. But you can read this. This is a wonderful chapter. So just one example Bhagwan gives here is 58 shlok. He, as I said, is full of metaphors, Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna is a very good. So he's giving example, and I think one of you has commented that after I want to join this course to be more disciplined. So one of the participants said, which is nice. Bhagwan is very specific on discipline, but not discipline in a very harsh or rough way, very balanced way, channelizing the energy to be disciplined. That is Bhagavad Gita. So he's giving example in 58 shlok. Yada samarate chayam kurmo angani vasarvashah indriyani indriyarthebhya tasya pragya pratishtita. Arjuna asks, whose pragya pratishtita means always available. Wisdom is always available to this person. So Bhagavan says, like a tortoise or turtle. Turtle has limbs, right? 4 legs and head. And turtle is the longest living animal. We know turtle can live up to 250 years. Recently, like a few years ago, they found a turtle which was brought by East India Company to Calcutta. And they found, like last year, it died, that turtle. The Britishers, they brought the turtle and they're still there. Now died, 250-year-old. So turtle has no, is not a wild animal. He doesn't have anything to attack. The only turtle does is his back is very strong. Even the elephant can stand on that. So whenever turtle sees a threat, will pull all his limbs inside and just hold like a piece of a stone. Nothing hurts turtle. That's why turtle lives longer. And Bhagavan is saying all these senses which are making you go outside and disturbing. Matra sparshas, 14 shlok. Matra sparshas konteyo sitoshu. These all senses are going outside the world and bringing all the disturbance inside. So this is Sthit Pragya person, whenever he or she sees that, oh, these things are not suitable for me, bring the senses inside. Means if something I don't want to see, just bring my eyes inside. Something I am not supposed to eat. I am a diabetic. I love cookies. I love ice cream. Who tells me? Myself within that. Oh, I should not. Sense control. So sense control is example given. Turtle example Bhagavan is a metaphor. That whenever you think, suppose somebody is not in your favor or condition is not favorable, bring your mind inside. Don't get angry. Bring the senses inside. Close your ear. I mean, don't hear those things. What we hear, not through ear, we hear through mind, through emotions. Oh, that person hurt me emotionally. Or through ear, the words came and you got hurt inside. Bhagavan says, stop there. Don't bring those things inside. Like turtle, withdraw whenever. So that is discipline. And Gita is big on that self-discipline. We'll talk about 6th chapter, will be like that. So yeah, so this is the person Sthit Pragya, and how do we do that? This this, if you can read that, Bhagwan has given many various ways. One of the ways like sense control, and sixth chapter is all about that. So we'll talk about that. How do we do that? But and then Bhagwan is describing in this. So we'll have 4 minutes to stop, because this Friday is Janmashtami and Krishna Janmashtami, and we are reading Bhagavad Gita. So, and I said in the beginning that Krishna, that's why we call it Purna Avatar. And when we read Bhagavad Gita, we have to keep in mind, when we go watch some movies and it is written by, say, James Cameron, we know that movie is going to be good because it's written by James Cameron. Avatar is written by Gulzar. And go and watch the movie written by Gulzar. We know because he's the classic writer. So this all whatever we are hearing, I'm just a means, or any Acharya, or you too, that the Vani is coming from Krishna himself. Every word is coming from Bhagwan directly. There is no other book. All other books are written by, Ramayana is written by Valmiki. Bhagavad is written by Ved Vyasi. This is the only teaching coming directly from Bhagwan. There is, otherwise you will hear from other people. So we are so lucky, right? So Janmashtami is there. So that's why we are so lucky to have Bhagwan's Vani. So there is a 2 line written by Bhagwan Krishna, and I said Purna Avatar. Karanam Madhuram, Taranam Madhuram, Haranam Madhuram, Ramanam Madhuram, Vamitam Madhuram, Shamitam Madhuram, Madhuratipate Akhilam Madhuram. Means Karunam means what you do is Madhuram. Madhuram means sweet or complete. Taranam, if you take me, Taranam is taking me across, like Arjun, he took it. If you hold my hand, Bhagwan, that is Madhuram. You take me, right? Haranam Madhuram. Bhagwan, he did Haranam of, that Subhadra Haran for the benefit of. So, Shamitam Madhuram means if you do the dance or Maja, like maybe Rasa, that is also Madhuram. Everything you do is Madhuram. And the teaching is also Madhuram. This Bhagavad Gita is not just an academic book or something or philosophy. No, it is Madhuram, coming from Bhagwan Krishna direct. What a teaching, right? And all about you is Madhuram. So Madhuram is sweet. So this, we have to take this teaching in that sense. It's not complicated. A lot of people say Bhagavad Gita is philosophy. Not philosophy. It's very simple. One of the simplest teaching. Only thing we have to go through a number of times and enjoy that. So again, so it was Gyan Yoga. We have done that. Gyan Yoga means Atma, realizing that I am not this body, I am Atma. And Atma means the reflection of Paramatma. In this body, I am manifesting the Paramatma. That's why we have a term we use in Deho Devalaya Prokta. This Deh is a Devalaya, it's a Mandir. If it is Mandir, then Bhagwan is in this Deh itself. And that's what next time we'll meet, we'll go to 14th chapter, which talks about how to make this body Mandir. 14th chapter, I just moved at because that's one of my favorite chapters. That chapter tells how to make this body a Mandir. Then Krishna will automatically come. And once Krishna comes, he'll come with the teaching. We don't have to read all too much of research in that. It's sort of simple. Only thing we have to read few times. And that's it, the joy. So with that, we'll stop here. Just one minute I'll take, and Shankaracharya ji has a shlok, or that they say Mano Buddhi Ahankar. That's what definition of Atma. Mano Buddhi Ahankar Chitta Ninaham Nachaksho Trijivve Nachagrana Netre Nachavyom Bhumir Natejo Navayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. And he's saying, I'm not these five elements which body is made of. I'm not these 5 senses. I'm not the mind. I'm not the intellect. I'm not even the ego. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. My Rupa is Chidananda, which is Paramatma. Constantly, always happy. And with that thought, happiness, will stop here. Next week we'll meet. I'll stay for a few more minutes. If anybody has any question, I'll stay for another 5 to 7 minutes, 10 minutes. Any question you can ask, or we can otherwise meet next week with the 14th chapter, which is called Gunatraya Vibhagyo. You can read that chapter before you come if you want. But wonderfully, the chapter is very suited for the modern lifestyle. if given a chance, I always say that chapter should be taught in every school to kids, every school, 14 chapter first. And once you get 14 chapter, it's done. It creates a character out of that person. We'll talk about next time we'll meet, right? So Hari Om, Jai Shri Krishna. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Krishna Kanaya Lal Ki Jai.
Jai.
I'll stay for a few more minutes, and if those who can have to drop, just drop. But yeah.
Namaste, Sanjay.